Hey everyone, and welcome back to a new video of mine. Today we are going to talk about a couple of Portuguese speaking Netflix shows you can watch. So if you want to know, then definitely stay tuned. Alright, this video is for all of those who asked me for it. I recently posted a poll. If you are not following me in the community tabs, then definitely do that. Check out the community tab because I sometimes do polls where I just want to know your opinion about something. And this time I posted a poll wanting to know what kind of video you would like to see next. So if you want to keep up with that and potentially have a say on my next video, then definitely watch out for those community tab polls. Alright, this video is voted for by you guys. You wanted me to give you a couple of Portuguese speaking Netflix shows you could watch. So here we go. Let's start with the first one. The first one is 3%. 3% is a series I started watching a couple of years ago when it first aired on Netflix. I did not watch it on Netflix. I found it somewhere else on the internet because I didn't have Netflix at the time. But I watched I watched the first season, and up until now it has I think 3 seasons if I'm not mistaken. So I watched the first season. I really liked it. It's kind of like a science fiction type of series. Basically, it's about a place, a country where people at the age of 20 have the choice. Well, they can participate in this competition to get to the shore, and the shore is basically like a utopia. So everything is better there at the shore. So it's on the other side of town basically, and just 3% of the whole population get to the shore. So the shore is like paradise. It's where people want to go. So it's kind of this utopian island where only 3%, the 3% who get through the whole list of competitions, they have to do so many things to get to this island, to this shore. So only 3% make it through this test. They get tested, they have to do mind games and all those kind of different things because they want the best out of the best to get to this island. Once they're there, a lot of them start seeing that this utopia that we're kind of dreaming about is not really what they expected. And yeah, so things start to unfold. So the twist is that basically all of the rest are living in slums. 97% of the whole population of this place are living in slums, and only the 3% are the elite who get to live on the other side on this island where everything seems to be better. And this is very much relevant to this world. I usually don't like these futuristic kind of movies and series, but this one I really like. I started watching it because it was Brazilian. It was in Portuguese. I watched it in Portuguese. I do watch a lot of Brazilian and Portuguese series just to get my Portuguese going. And this one helped me a lot. So if you like those kind of vibe, futuristic, but also very much critical about society and what's going on, it's very relevant to what's going on today too. And it reminded me of the book 1983. So if you're interested in that, then definitely check the series out. 3%. And next Netflix show I absolutely love, which is also Brazilian. All of the Netflix shows I'm mentioning are Brazilian because, well, they are just Brazilian. I haven't seen a Portuguese Netflix show yet, but yeah, every Portuguese speaking Netflix show I Google or I look up on Netflix are always Brazilian. So yeah, for the most part, everything I'm talking about is gonna be a Brazilian series. So the next one is The Circle Brazil, and that one I talked about in one of my previous videos. You can check out here. I absolutely love this one. It's a reality game show. I love this one for learning all everyday slang, everyday speech, because it's a reality show. So people are going to speak pretty much how they speak on an everyday basis. It's not scripted. So it was really interesting, and I learned so many new words out of this show, because when I watch normal series, of course it's scripted and there's only so much vocabulary that the actors are going to use. But in this reality show, every time they kept coming with new vocabulary I didn't know. I literally had to look up so many words, just get my phone and save them, because I learned so many new things. Another great thing about the show is that since it's a reality show, they're taking participants from all over Brazil, and they noticeably have different accents. And that is also a good way to train your ears to listen to different accents. That's mainly when you're more advanced in learning Portuguese, and that was the case for me. I learned so many new accents with this show. I learned to listen to them and like incline my ears more to the different types of accents according from where people are from. So that was really interesting too. So the fact that it's a reality show should not make you not want to watch it. I thought the same in the beginning. I was like, a reality show, but in fact it really helped me. It was one of the shows that helped me the most acquire new vocabulary. So definitely go and watch The Circle Brazil. Next show I just finished watching the second season, and I'm hoping that there will be a third season to come soon, is Coisa Mais Linda. Coisa Mais Linda is the Portuguese translation of The Girls of Ipanema, or Ipanema Girls, or something like that in English. Let me look it up. Girls from Ipanema. That is the show, and I absolutely love this show. I wouldn't have thought I would love a show that plays out like in the 1950s. So after The Circle Brazil, I watched another show, and then I was looking for a new Brazilian show to watch, and I came across this one. I've seen like trailers of it before, but I wasn't really like, it didn't really get me hooked to actually watch it. But I was like, okay, let me just start watching this one in Portuguese. And I watched it, and I absolutely love it. I didn't think that I would love it that much. So it basically plays out, as I said, at the end of the 1950s, where a woman from Sao Paulo moves to Rio de Janeiro, and she discovers that her husband basically left her and robbed all of her money. And with that, she basically has to make up her life all over again and starts to really focus on her, because the 1950s, of course, were not easy times for women. So she starts to create a business. What was initially meant to be a restaurant with her husband is now going to be a music club. That is something that she dreamt of, and with the help of her female friends, they built up this music club in the 1950s. So that is something very special, and they talk about different things that are pretty relevant up until now, like for example femicide, racism. So there's so many topics touched in this series that are very much relevant, especially in Brazil nowadays, and that is why I liked this series. Another thing I absolutely love about this series is the music. I'm a fan of bossa nova music. I'm a fan of Brazilian music, samba music. That's something that got me actually to learning Portuguese. So if you like bossa nova, Brazilian samba, then definitely also check out this series, because there's so much music in that. There's so much culture that you will see, and yeah. So definitely check out The Girls from Ipanema. Another series I loved, well, none of those I didn't really like, of course, but those are the ones I really liked, is Sintonia. Sintonia is a series which plays out in the favelas of Sao Paulo. So it's one favela where three friends grow up together, and they grow up to have like different lifestyles, and it's interesting to see what path they take, having grown up in the same favela and the same place. So from one becoming a drug dealer to one taking the religious pathway like church, and the other one wanting to become a funkeiro, like a Brazilian funk music singer. This series is great if you want to know about Brazilian like hip-hop, pop culture. It's all in there. It's all in this series, Sintonia, because it shows you like how life is in the favelas. It shows you what kind of music they listen to. It shows you so many different areas of Brazilian pop culture and hip hop culture, like the funk music, which is pretty much like unknown outside of Brazil. But when you've been there or when you listen to Brazilian music, you know funk music. That's basically the Brazilian hip hop. So those elements are very much present in this series. Also, what kept me hooked to this series is the language. Again, in this one, you're absolutely going to learn like everyday pop culture slang language. Like they speak how people would speak in the favelas. They speak how younger crowds are speaking. So you learn a lot of slang. This was another series where I was literally looking up so many new words because I did not know what they meant. I also discovered that those are not only Brazilian slang words, but those are actually slang words particular to that favela in Sao Paulo. It's a fictional favela, but still they have the ways of speaking which is very real. I would advise the series to someone who's more so intermediate because you really have to understand the slang. There's a lot of slang. I would say this is the series where the most slang comes up because if you don't understand regular Portuguese, you will not understand this Portuguese. So obviously you would have to look up a whole lot. And if you're intermediate, then you can get behind the meanings of things. So like, for example, they say a thing like pegar visão. This is slang. So it's like catch the vision. You know what I mean? Something like that. I don't even know how to translate it in English. But anyways, so things like that come up a whole lot. What I'm trying to say that you definitely have to know some Portuguese. More a lot than less. Alright, another series I just started watching is Samantha. Samantha is also a Brazilian Netflix series, which is kind of more of a comedy. I haven't like really watched it yet that much to tell you how I like it, but I just wanted to leave it here as a suggestion if in case you're interested. So it's about a former child star who is basically trying to get back to fame. That's all I can tell you about it up until now because I've only watched one episode, as I said. But definitely if you're interested, then you can check this out also, Samantha. So these were my 5 choices of Netflix Brazilian series that you can watch. Of course there are more that I haven't watched yet. That's why I did not talk about them, but I want to mention them to you briefly so you can also check those out in case you're interested. One is called Brotherhood, Irmandade in Portuguese, and this is basically about a lawyer who investigates a case like in where her brother is involved, I think, and in prison she finds out like that her brother has a brotherhood in prison. So basically I don't exactly know what they're doing, but yeah, that is Irmandade. Then there's another comedy like series which is called Ninguém Tá Olhando in Portuguese, which translates to Nobody's Looking. This one is also kind of like a comedy, I think. So it's about guardian angels who help humans out, and one of them interferes in the whole system they have and breaks the rules about protecting the humans. So I think I just watched a brief section of the first episode and I did not continue with that one, but if you're interested in that, then you can also check that out. Another one I know of is called City of God, 10 anos, Cidade de Deus, 10 anos depois. It's basically a documentary of the actors from the movie called City of God, which premiered in 2002, I think. Yeah, so it's been almost 20 years already, and like 10 years after 2012 they did like a documentary to show how the movie changed the actors' life because they were all child actors, and basically what they became, how they took different paths in their career and in their lives. So that's also interesting to watch. Yeah, Cidade de Deus, 10 anos depois, City of God, 10 years later. And the last one I know of is O Escolhido, The Chosen One. This is about 3 doctors who go to some remote place where they try to get a vaccine to the locals, to the indigenous people, and like the head of them, the chief of them, has like supernatural powers or something, and they find themselves like trapped in the in the jungle in the middle of like nowhere with this community. And yeah, so that's basically what The Chosen One is about. So those were all the series. I hope you found one that you can watch and that you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.